Oh-de-do-de-do. Let's see. This is Cousin Vinny coming to you live from YouTube, testing out their stream for a third time. No music this time. Last time we had a problem with streaming and using copyrighted music content, so we won't be doing that this time. You want to say hello, Felicia?
Hello.
That's my daughter, Felicia, my sweetheart. Anyway, we're just gonna run through some scans tonight, get back to the community, and just get a sense of what we look at when we're looking for trade setups. Let me just get my laptop geared up here so that I can see what the chat. Who's in it? YouTube. Bear with me a second. We technically won't be going live until 7:30, but I'm just streaming at this point. Okay. What do I want to do? I want to go to Okay. I'll get rid of that. There's my lovely wife. And we're live. So let me go to my stream. Okay. So let me get back here. Alright, so this is Cousin Vinny coming to you live from my stream on YouTube. If you're unaware of my YouTube channel, you can check that out. Let's see, I think, well, it's irrelevant. You can go to my YouTube channel, obviously, here on YouTube. You can just search me out, enter Cousin Vinny Day Trade, and that'll give you my site. Okay, so you can subscribe to that. Typically we post a video on Sunday reviewing for the week. However, this past weekend I was just burnt out doing videos and working with the kids and so forth. So tonight we're going to do, by the way, if you're not subscribed to the blog, this is a spam-free site. The only thing that we do from time to time is to promote the book and videos, which helps new traders. It's really for you guys, an inexpensive way to learn the trade without spending a fortune on training. So you could just enter your email here, click submit, and you'll get these posts every day. Today we talked about SPY. We talked about our game plan, what we were looking for after yesterday's huge engulfing candle. Came down to the 382, had a nice bounce. Today we're flagging out right in that same area. So if we look at those charts, SPY, see my stream is doing okay. Yep. Let's take a look at this really new, I've never seen this before, but Stock Charts has a candle volume chart, which is really cool because it gives you a sense of the buying volume by virtue of the size of the candle as well as the size of the volume. Okay, very cool feature. There's a 30-minute version I uploaded. Where is it? There it is. That has a trend line on it. And we can see the 10 EMA and 30 EMA. What's up, buddy? You gonna give that to me? You wanna say hello?
Hello.
That's my son Antoine. He's given me a walker from Star Wars. Colored it real nice. So I'm gonna keep that. Is that okay? I'm live on the internet. Okay, so I'll talk to you in a few minutes. Okay. All right. So really cool feature. What we like to do is focus on volume and moves on volume. If you watch the video using market internals, you can see very clearly what we were watching yesterday on that nice move here. You can also set up your charts so you have a similar view as what we have on TOS. When you set it up this way, your up-down volume, so it separates out the net down volume from the net up volume, which is critical on this move yesterday. We saw this coming. This broke out right about 1150, 1155, and the volume just continued to ramp as shorts continued to cover. We had that nice move today up at 10,368, and then we had this little move lower. Now, the key here is on the down move, the 10 EMA was below the 30. We continue to see resistance. This is the way we play this. Moves against the 30 EMA or the 10 EMA or the zone in between, we look for resistance, and then we short the first candle, or first stick in this case, elder impulse. So now we're holding inside of the 10 EMA. The 10 EMA is above the 30, so we're looking for a bounce here tomorrow. On that previous 30-minute chart, note that we had resistance. Where did that chart go? Right here. Nope, that's not it. On this 30-minute chart, we have the next one. Nope, what was it? Oh, it was a daily chart, sorry. Daily candle volume. We had this support zone over here that we lost in August, which is a clear area for resistance. We have a little spinning top. We're in between the 10 EMA and the 30, and depending on which way this breaks, we would need a confirmation of a close above the high for continuation, or a close below the low for a reversal and a move lower. So the key here is where we close tomorrow. What happens during the day is somewhat irrelevant as far as the daily pattern and which direction we're going to head. So it's anybody's guess. We're at resistance. We had a nice move through end of September and October. 6 weeks up, we hit a resistance area 10 trading days ago. Had 8 days down. We had a nice move higher on Monday, engulfing candle, and some decent volume. Okay, so let's run some scans. And we're going to run the high type flag scan real quick and see what we have for a trade. Okay, run that. Got 68 stocks. We're going to scan that, or excuse me, we're going to add this to a chart list. One of the reasons why we like stock charts so much. You can store countless numbers of charts. I'll show you the chart list in a minute, but let's just focus on this. Note the Indian economy, the country, has done quite well, and it's reflected in a lot of these stocks that form high type flags. So you can check these names out. You can just take a screen cap, and there's Michael. How you doing, Mike? Tammy hurt. What's going on? We got the family in the room? Okay, that's cool. How you doing, Tammy? Okay, so let's take a look. BAK, commodity chemicals. Let's take a look at that. All right, so the basis of a high type flag, if you don't know what it is, you take 60 days. You want to see appreciation of more than 90%. That's William O'Neill's definition. Tom Bukowski, excuse me, William O'Neill is 100%, and Tom Bukowski goes with anything over 90%. So they're very close. So a 90% increase from 775 up to 1325. We're pretty close to that number, if not over it. I don't have a calculator in front of me. I can't do it in my head. But 100% obviously would be 1550, right? So we're not too far off. So you have a 100% increase in a stock within 60 trading days, and then you look for a flag or consolidation period. You're also watching for volume. Now this particular stock doesn't have a lot of volume, but it does. Oh, you logged onto your wife's account by accident. So I was okay. Haha. So I mean, this is a pretty low volume stock. 740, actually 744,000. That's not too bad. But so what we would look for now is a consolidation or pattern flag here. Okay. So let's go back to our scan. Take a look at those. BAK. I'm only going to focus on the US only because I want to focus on US based stocks today. Alright, so we have this nice vertical flag, a vertical pole from 358 on Pacific Biosciences, PACB. From the 358 level, we obviously had a double. Now, vertical flags, according to Tom Bukowski in his book Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns, which is one of my favorite books, Mikey's as well. The vertical poles don't perform as well, but needless to say, we still have a pole. We're watching a consolidation, a break above these levels. You could have a buy stop up here, and note the volume. This is not day traders, typically trading 20, 30 million shares. Okay, that's somebody that's interested. There's something about this company, something about the products or services that has got their interest. These people are falling all over themselves buying shares. Okay, so that's the first premise. Second premise is 100% increase for O'Neill. We'll go with 100%. And a consolidation pattern. Bukowski said the consolidation pattern doesn't have to be a type flag. He's more concerned about seeing a visible consolidation. You can check that out on his patternsite.com. If you disagree, that's fine. But we found that what he's seen also works for us. So a break above this level, you could use a buy stop. Note the Kirby above. Above this level, there's virtually no overhead supply. So we could see the stock take off at some point. Let's take a look at the weekly just to see what has traded previously. Alright, so we have this big sideways range. So as the saying goes, the longer the base, the higher in space. Okay, so enough of that. Let's take a look at some other ones. Cray computers. I noticed this one a few weeks back and I forgot to tell you guys about it. There you go. But it's good that we didn't, actually. In hindsight, we had this pull back to the 32 level, $2 off the highs, $3, $2.84. We're firming here now, so keep an eye on that. Bukowski likes to take a breakout above these levels for a safer entry. You could take an entry if this breaks above the 34 level tomorrow. Note the volume, decent volume there. Stowe's turning. And this is also a 10E Stowe MACD setup. If you're not familiar with it, that's something we talk about in my book. Darshell, welcome. How you doing? Okay, so I hope I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, it's just my American English reading habits. Okay, so let's take a look at, I want to do this rather than that. Cray. Weight Watchers. This one gapped up. One of my students caught this stock, gapped up. He sold, I think, half of his shares. He might have sold all of them. I'm not sure, but Nice thing about this is using the gap and go strategy, also from the book and the video series. We never came back and tested this low. So that right there was a dead giveaway. We've held a 10 EMA and then we gapped up again. So I was telling people that were interested in this, they told me, well, I have Weight Watchers, should I hold it? And I said, well, watch this gap. So you could have held this gap at 1050, 1060, and now you'd be up 100% from that level, just using the gap and go strategy. All right, the reason why stock gaps up, there are numerous reasons, but typically it has to do with earnings or a news announcement like a takeover or whatever. I'm not sure what the news was on Weight Watchers. The point is that it held this gap low. And you had this nice move lower, connect the highs here. This is phase 4, right? This is the markdown period. So what we look for after phase 4, we look for phase 1. Phase 1 is the consolidation period when institutions are picking up shares. Okay, you can see these little blips here, these pocket pivots. That's institutions picking up shares. Move sideways. The longer the base, the higher in space. Okay, so that's Weight Watchers. So they did quite well. A guy at the office, a trader as well, kept his shares, and he's forever thankful for that. Okay, so that's Weight Watchers. Let's go back and look at what else we have. Angie's List is another one I was looking at. Let's see how this turned out. Ooh, nice gap and go. Actually, Angie's was a gap and go last week. So that was what I was looking at. It was on Thursday. We had a gap, and here you go. Held the gap right there. Okay. If you're unfamiliar on how to find these, very easy. You just go to FinViz. Okay. You go to, once this loads up. Okay, this loads up. You're going to go to, where's my menu? Oh, there we go, screener. You're going to click on all, right there. Come over here and click gap, take 5%. That'll give you a list. We're going to go to average volume, which is over here, I believe. Actually, you know what? Let me go to descriptive. It's easier to find. Average volume, take 1,000,000 shares. That'll give you another filter on your list. Now you want to look at charts right here in the middle of the screen. Very quickly you can see who gapped up, if it's worth taking a look at. Arrows, I'm familiar with that symbol. What is that? I'm not interested in the chart though. Free, GBSN, JKS, this is solar. Ginkgo's. Remember First Solar, we almost got stopped out today. Nuance Communications. Gap and go there, possibly. I know I'm jumping off the track here, but we're talking about gap and go and how I looked at Angie's List last week. So long as it holds this low here, there's a reason why this stock traded so many shares. Let's take a look at on stock charts. NUAN. And we do this every night typically. One. Okay, there you go. So we traded 15 million shares. That's not day traders. That's not Mikey and I buying shares, unfortunately. We had a nice little triangle pattern here. Okay. Now you guys can check, but I think this is probably due to earnings. So if you just go to Nuance earnings, you'll get the NASDAQ site right there. This is really good to know because that'll tell you how much they beat by and when they've reported. So they reported 11/16. Okay, that makes sense. 4.55% surprise. They beat by a penny, and apparently the street likes it. So, you know, that's one way to find setups using, you could just do gap and go setups and make money doing that alone. Okay? So, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, sometimes the gaps do fade. That's why we watch for the gap and go for this low to hold. That's the whole strategy. I mean, it's very clear. When the this low holds, the next day you start watching it. Invariably, if the stock continues to move higher, you're going to have a gap and go. You could have a gap and fade as well if it breaks down through this level. We had that happen with Facebook a couple of weeks after the gap. We failed first thing off, then we popped back up, and then we lost it again. We got stopped out of this one on this candle right here, this down move. That was on Friday. I think you might have seen a number of people. I believe Shadow Trader was trading this, as well as HCPG. We all got stopped out on this candle right here. And we lost the 10 EMA and the 20 EMA. And we put in this nice reversal candle. So we'll watch this one tomorrow to see how this goes. So back to the scan. Okay, kind of got off the track, but I think you're following my train of thought here. We're not just looking at high type flags. MX Max Linear Semiconductors. Let's see how this one's doing. Guys, let me know. Am I skipping at all? Is the stream nice and stable? I could check my stream health, I guess. I don't know how to do that just yet. It was good with ticker.tv because it was easy to monitor all these things. Okay, so we had Maxwell. We had a gap and go here. This one was a few weeks ago, if you remember. On earnings, a pullback to the 10 EMA. That's holding a nice spinning top. All right, so now you got to pivot. So this is another way to trade this as well. It held the low. It's moving higher. It pulled back, first pullback. Now you got to pivot. Okay, so draw a trend line there. As long as it doesn't break that trend line or lose the 10 EMA and close below, you got a nice trade. Nice volume. Stow is setting up, and MACD is trying to move. That histogram is trying to move back higher. And note where your MACD is above the zero line. What else we have here? 5 Prime Therapeutics. That was up 38 cents. Let's look at some of these that jumped more substantially. Well, actually, the list is filtered by percent change. So there you go. WB, Weibo. And we'll see how that turns out. All right, so not very interesting high type flag scan tonight. So let's take a look at the 10 E Stow MACD setup. Let me have a sip of my beer. Scans. And these scans, all of these custom scans are in the book as well. So you can get those for free basically. Mikey and I debated about whether or not we should give those out, but it is what it is. Okay, 10 E Stow MACD setup. Let's go ahead and run that scan. Put a lot of work into the scan, tweaking it, getting it to work right. H-band, Huntington Bank shares, a favorite to trade. Let's see what this looks like. Forming a cup. I don't like it when it gets choppy like this. I rather it when a stock has a nice, trend to it. It's okay. Now let me put this in a list so I can look at it tomorrow. 7:51. I've been on for 21 minutes. Hawk and 8 CDW. Yeah, we'll look at the IBD 50 as well. Alder Pharmaceuticals, that was up $1.33. All right, so we got phase 2 here. Phase 3 was very brief. Phase 4 dropped down. We haven't really seen a clear base and consolidation or base here. So, but we do have a 10E 30 MA cross, so that's something to consider. You got me another one? Come here. Give it to me. Yeah? That looks nice. You did that all by yourself? Yeah? Want to say hello again?
Hello.
Okay. Go back upstairs. I'll be there in like 5-10 minutes, okay? And I'll read to you. Okay, so Alder looks okay. Let's take a look at Moody's. Interesting. We haven't had a downgrade on the U.S. economy in a while. All right, so we have phase 2 here, brief phase 3, a drop lower. Now we're consolidating. Looks like phase 1 starting. We'll keep an eye on this one. Not crazy about trading it, but it does trade well. I mean, you can make money on the stock. Okay, let's go to pod. ICUI. Let's separate these by industries. Banks, CNB, HB, WABC. I like these small banks. A lot of times they have nice patterns. Mike has mentioned, was it Ozark? Oh, Hawk. Okay. Ozark, got a little doji there. Let's look at this. These are IBD 50 stocks. Nice little reversal. Okay, using the John Carter mentality, we have a close lower, then we have a close higher above this low here. Oh, excuse me, above this high. That shows that we should have a reversal. Now we blasted higher and took out all of these candles here. We're back above the 20 MA. That's looking good. Stow recycled, moving higher. We have volume, and MACD's crossing back up. Now the longer duration is still above the zero line. We have MACD cross, and no reason not to believe this is going to get back above zero. So this could do quite well. Looking good. And Hawk. Thanks, Mike. Broke Mike. Are you new to the stream, or do you go by a different name on StockTwits? A little W pattern here. Area where we might break out on Hawk. Obviously, we don't want to chase this, but it is a 10E Stow MACD setup, I think. Yep, Stow MACD's positive. There you go. So the idea is that this is only a buck. 75 cents to a buck above the 10 EMA, so you're not too far from a breakout right here and here. You got the upper Bollinger Band. You probably got 47 in the cards in the near future. No overhead supply if it gets above this level. Okay. Using the volume by price bands. Stow's turning back up. This looked good. Nice volume today. Traded 836,000 shares. So let's look at what else we got here. ALK, airlines, dollar's moving higher, so oil's going to be moving lower. You would think. Let me see what WTIC settled at today. Oh, sorry. Got to put the dollar sign. Vinny, what's the matter with you? Ooh, that doesn't look that great. Got a doji, you got a harami. Inside day, it's probably going to go lower. Well, if the dollar's moving higher, that makes sense, right? Let's take a look at what the dollar looks like. Yep, looking really good. So you have this dollar chart jumping around a little bit, but this is important as well. Okay, we had this nice base. Okay, I was talking to a student about this last night. The longer this base, the higher in space. Now, take the measured move here, and even if you took half of that, we got 100, 101 written all over this. Makes sense. I mean, with everything that's going on in the world right now, after Paris and Germany and everything else in the news, people flock to the dollar and gold. Let's take a look at gold, which should be moving lower. Commodities should move lower when the dollar moves higher. Takes less dollars to buy the same commodity. Yep, gold looks pretty terrible. Let's take a look at the weekly. I noticed that copper looked pretty bad today as well. Let's go to commodities. STZ looks good. Yeah, people got a drink when they. Yeah, ooh, look at that doji. Could have the possibility. Well, with gold moving higher, I wouldn't bank too much on this. Yeah, forget that. It's not even worth looking at, really, when you think about it. On a scale of 1 to 10 on the things that we're contemplating trading. Okay. Let's go to the IBD 50. I think Mikey's already alluded to the fact that he's been looking at it. I forgot to update it this weekend, so I'm going to go with last week's list. I'll sort these by percent change and see what's showing up. Financials, technology, financial. All right, so I'm going to jump again. Sorry about that. Let's take a look at our sectors. Do this by candle glance. This is what's great about being a Stock Charts member. You have all these tools at your disposal. You can analyze lots of information very quickly. Let's go to Arun. Let's take a look at that. Alright. Now note with SPY, I'm going to come back to sectors, but I want to show you something on Arun. On the weekly. The weekly is actually showing a very strong trend. And what was I looking at before? Was it NYA? Interesting. Maybe I was looking at an old chart. Never mind. Forget that thought. Let's go back to stock twits. Oh, excuse me. Go back to, let's go with stochastic RSI. This shows you the same thing. Stochastic RSI tends to move, precede price anyway. So we had all of these oversold, and we started to turn back up. Today we had a little bit of a move lower towards the end of the day, the last half of the day I should say, and we settled on a spinning top, or a doji. So we still have impetus for a move higher if the indices get some legs tomorrow. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Alright, so sectors are still set up so that they can push the indices higher. So just keep that in mind. Let's go to stars, constellation brands. I always call it stars. Nice breakout. Yeah, Bollinger Bands are expanding. Okay. So that looks really good. Nice volume increasing. Just look at the pocket pivots here. 1, 2, 3. Pocket pivot is defined as up volume beating the previous 10 days down volume. It typically shows you when institutions are driving. Now obviously we follow volume a lot because when stocks break out, when they do it on volume, that's an obvious sign that things are working the way you want them to, similar to what we were just pointing out earlier on our up-down volume chart. Okay. Oopsie. Where are we? We're right. So the reason why this trade worked yesterday, the SPY trade, is because we saw this very early, this breakout on volume. We were watching up-down volume on our TOS platform. It started at 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1. Towards the end of the day in the video, that update that I sent out, you could see this follow through. Now we have the 10 EMA above the 30 and we have confirmation. So in order for the bulls to stick with this, we need to see it move back above the 10 EMA and for price action to resume its path upward. Okay, and the way we'll watch for that is we'll watch for our up-down volume to start to pick up above 1 to 1. Okay, same concept with an individual stock. You want to see volume. I mean, it makes ultimate sense when you think about it. Tape reading and the order flow, when you see the level 2 picking up and you see a lot of large bids and small on the ask side, that's telling you that your order flow is very bullish. It makes common sense, you would think that, but a lot of traders actually don't use it. Krishna, how you doing, buddy? I assume you're a guy. If you're not, my apologies. Anyway, welcome to the room. We have quite a few people following now, so that's good. So we have a breakout, long story short, above 138.56. If you took this today, don't panic. I think you're probably going to be good. Look for confirmation and follow through. I mean, it's not a perfect three white soldiers, but it's possible that you could see some trading inside of here tomorrow at 137.50 and then build a nice white candle for something similar. Now, obviously, three white soldiers you want to see in a downtrend, but this looks like a nice little reversal here off of the 20 period moving average. Okay, excuse me, that's the 50 period moving average, the green line. So this held quite nicely. Bollinger Bands expanding, and enough talk about constellation brands. Let's run one more scan, and then I'm going to call it a night. I just wanted to test out the stream and see how things are going, let people get back into the groove with our live broadcast once every so often. Okay, so I'm going to go to members, go down to here to scans. Again, if you bought the book, or if you haven't bought the book, all of these custom scans are in the book, and all you can do is copy and paste it into your stock charts account and run these scans. These are custom scans. Let's take a look at the Ichimoku AB scan. That's actually pretty good. That came from I forget the fellow's name. Okay, what's going on here? My scan's not working. Okay, let me just, my system might be slowing down. That's not possible, right? Got a quad processor, 27-inch iMac. This thing shouldn't be, okay, there we go. For whatever reason. Oh, you know why? It was running through so many stocks. My bad. Okay, so let's hold this one into a chart list. I love Ichimoku AB scans because it really picks up a lot of interesting information. We're going to go through a 10 per page. Oops. Sorry about that. I hear my daughter playing piano. Oh, sorry. Let me go to edit list. This is another thing about stock charts is really cool. You can have your different chart type styles. You select all these charts. You saw that it was a box trade setup. I can just go down here to change settings, and I have quite a bit of settings here. You can see for different reasons. I'm going to go down here to Ichimoku Daily and change all of my charts in one shot to Ichimoku. That way it'll change the color to black and all my other settings too. So here you go. Agilent, bounce right off the cloud. This is probably going to go somewhere tomorrow. Look at that volume. Boom. Stowe's turning back up. That's a 10 Stowe MACD setup. Let's take a look at Barrick Gold. Dropping down. Not interested. Bioscript. Not interested. Gilead. Bouncing off Kumo. Keep an eye on Gilead. Stowe and MACD turning back up. Watch your histogram. Want to see volume. Hilton Worldwide dropping lower. Interesting. Interesting. Poly 1. I think these are the guys that do commodity chemicals. Okay, so we broke above Kumo, came back down, tested Kijun-sen, and now we're bouncing. So this looks interesting. Volume's increasing. Stowe's near oversold, however. Seattle Genetics. Breakout, Kumo, pull back down to Kumo, and now we're bouncing again. Nice volume. Stowe turning back up. You got a 10 Stowe MACD set up on this as well. Now, if I Sun Power coming back down, that looks weak. And we'll see what this last group looks like. TTMI. Okay, not that interesting. Okay, so let's go to, let's run another scan. What time is it? It's 8:07. We've been on for almost 40 minutes. Okay, let's go to a pocket pivot scan. That typically picks up a lot of volume traded stocks. This is running a scan through several thousand stocks, so that's why it takes this long sometimes. All right, let's hold this into a new group. Let's see, HD. I heard that one did pretty well today. Let's see what that looks like. I would say so. Here you go. Gap and go, and it's also, you got so many things going on with this. You have a nice pattern. You have a gap and go, pushing off the 50 period. You got Bollinger Bands expanding. You got huge volume. Stow set up, moving higher. MACD is about to cross back up on the short duration, and the longer duration is already there. So odds are this is probably going to follow through and break out tomorrow. But I wouldn't think it impossible to come back and test some of this candle tomorrow. So watch for this to pull back into this candle. If not, if it takes off, so be it. Remember the previous chart we were talking about, when you look for a pivot to come back down so you could draw a trend line through it and you have something to trade off of. Okay, so that's Home Depot. Let's go Ingram Micro. Let's see what that looks like. Nice pattern, very similar. 10 Stow MACD setup. Now, with the MACD setup, you want the the MACD to get above the signal line, but we also look at it when it's above 0 as well. So it's trending in the right direction anyway. Ingram Micro should follow through. And we'll take one more. Oh, we looked at ALK. Energy hasn't been doing that great, but this looks good. Testing these highs again. No overhead supply. Nice volume. Pocket pivot. Obviously institutions are picking up shares here for some reason, so keep an eye on this one. MACD is about to cross above the signal line, and it's above 0. Okay, so that's going to do it for me tonight. I'm going to go read to my son. It's time for his bedtime for him. I hope you guys picked up on a few things, and good to see you guys in the room again. And Mike, thank you very much for Michael Hurt. Thank you for moderating the room as usual. Take care. Good seeing you there, Lyndon. Glad you stopped by. Thank you, Lyndon. Thank you for your support. Believe me, you will not be disappointed. Take care and look forward to more videos coming out on the premium site. Check that out under our blog site. Remember, if you're not a member, you can also check that out and get the updates every day in terms of what we're thinking about for the day, setups, which we just went through, and of course over here on the premium tabs, there's more information for things for new traders. When you think about it, you spend a few dollars. My wife is actually mad at me that I charge so little for my time. I'm teaching you 28 years of experience basically for nothing, and you're learning from a mentor's student perspective, and you're cutting your learning curve down to the minimum and hitting the ground running basically. So that's what I put together in my book. It was basically written for my kids so that when they grow up they can learn from somebody who knows what they're doing and they can trust. Okay, so that's it, my spiel for the day. If you're not a member of the blog, check it out. Here's the address, cb_blog. Remember, this is case sensitive, theclosingprint.com, cb_blog. And you can also just subscribe, put your email in here, and click submit. That's going to do it for me tonight. I hope you guys learned something. I hope this helped. Take care, and we'll see you on the stream tomorrow.